Good morning, students. In the last session, we discussed Chapter 3, Tenses and Their Uses, Part 1. I had given you some assignments to do. I hope you have done them. Now we shall move to Chapter 4, the continuation of the tenses and their uses, Part 2. Here we will discuss past tense, all four forms of past tense and the future tense. First, we will discuss past tense, simple past tense, past continuous tense, past perfect tense, and past perfect continuous tense. So, let us see first of all simple past tense. As we have already seen in the last lesson, past tense is used for an action that is already over, an action that is now finished. Here we have explanation of it, which is now over, an action that occurred in the past and now finished. Now past tense is used to narrate the events, actions or situations. Here we have first one, which may have happened recently or which may have happened in the distant past. It can be an action that is over just now or in the distant past. For example, Eva left home a week ago. So the second form of the verb left is a simple past tense. Akbar was a great king. We already saw in the last session, actions can be both doing words or status. So here we have a state, Akbar was. We have been using the helping verb to denote the state in the sentences. So here Akbar was great king. The second one we have when a time of reference is given or when the time reference must be understood from the context. So when a time is given, for example, he finished his work yesterday. So a time is given. Yesterday his work was over. Or the second one, I saw him in the garden, means when I was in the garden. At that time, I too was in the garden. So a time was given in this. So whenever a time is prescribed. Now the second point is when in the immediate past, say in the immediate past, an action that has just over. For example, the tense is used without time reference. So it is without time reference. Who left the door open? So we do not know at what time it happened and of which action and time is being spoken. Second one, past habits, something that we used to do in the past but not now. So here we have the simple past tense used to describe past habits. For example, he drank 10 cups of coffee a day till last month. So drank till last month. Now it's not practiced. So earlier he used to do that. So we saw in the simple past tense it is used to for a completed action which is over just in now or in the distant past, or for an action for which a time is given, or for an action that is over in the immediate past, or for past habits which are not practiced now. Now we shall move to past continuous tense. Now we know in the past continuous tense, for an action that continued for some time. We already have seen present continuous action that was going on. Here past continuous tells us action in progress in the past. So something happened for some time in the past. So it is used to describe past situations or action that were in progress some time in the past. For example, Ranu was living abroad in 2004 So she missed the election. So was living in 2004, but not now. So for an action that is over in the past. Second example in the same. Often it is not known whether the action was completed or not. When we speak about actions that is already over in past continuous tense, sometimes we are not sure whether the action is over or not. For example, Rohit was working on his project last night. So that means we are sure that he was working in the last night for long hours, but we are not sure whether the action is over or not, whether the project work is over or not, we are not sure. Sometime adverbial beginning with all emphasizes continuity. So for example, it was raining all night, all afternoon, all yesterday. So this adverbial phrase, all night, all afternoon, all of yesterday, it may show that for a continued period it was going on. That is why it is shown all night or all afternoon, all of yesterday. Then thirdly, in the same way, still can emphasize duration. So Radha was talking to her friend on the phone when I came in, and she was still talking to her when I went out an hour later. So for 1 hour continuously the girl was talking. That is what mentioned here. So past continuous tense could be for an action that is over, or we are not sure whether the action is over or not for some time. Then secondly, it is used for an action which began before something else happened. So for an action that happened before something else. The past continuous and past simple past are often used together in a sentences. For example, just I was leaving the house, the phone rang. Look at was leaving is past continuous tense and rang is simple past tense. So sometime for an action that began before something else happened. That is why two verbs are shown there. Secondly, the simple past can also be used to describe an action in progress. See, for an action that is in progress. For example, while I was fumbling for money in my purse, my friend paid the bus fare. Look at paid and was fumbling. So something, when something action going on, another action happens. So it is also used to describe an action in progress, something that was happening but couldn't serve for somebody else did it. So we have another form. When a parallel action happens, say when a parallel action happens. While I was mowing the lawns, my mother was cooking dinner. Two actions at a time happening. That is a parallel actions. Two actions happening at the same time. When Sham worked here, he was always making mistake. So look at repeated action. When Sham worked here, he was always making mistakes. So it's a repeated action. So we have here the second one, polite inquiries. When we have to make polite inquiries, we also use the same. Look at, I was wondering if you could give me a lift. It's not that it happened in the past, but it is the state of the mind. I was wondering if you could give me a lift. That means it is not action that is over, something that is to happen, but put in a polite way in the past tense. Then an alternative to the simple past. Sometime for simple past, an alternative form is used in the past continuous tense. See, past continuous can be used as an alternative to the simple past to indicate a more casual and less deliberate action. Look at, I was walking with the dog this morning. So for something else, an alternate is shown. I was walking with the dog this morning. So we saw all the present simple past tense and past continuous tense. We saw the second form of the verb is used in the past tense. We see here in the past continuous tense was, another form what we use is were. So the helping verb that is used for continuous tense is ing form of the verb, and the helping verb that is was and were. So we have here the perfect tense. Let us see the perfect tense now. So we have here now past perfect tense. Past perfect tense is used to refer to an earlier past, something that happened in the past, earlier past. So something that happened just now or when the time period is given, it is simple past tense. So we have it is an earlier past. So we have the main use of the past perfect is when two events take place in a close sequence. So when two events take place in a close sequence, for example, the patient died, the doctor arrived. So here two actions, that is simple past tense. When we have this to be written, patient died when the doctor arrived. Look at. To combine these two sentences in different way to show their relationship in the past. The patient died at the time or just after the doctor arrived. So we can write it in a form that the patient had died when the doctor arrived. So the arrived is the simple past tense and had arrived is the past perfect tense. The patient was already dead, to show that action was already over when the doctor arrived. Secondly, it is used for past equivalent of the present perfect. Past equivalent, something equal of the present perfect. The past present sometime functions simply as the past form of the present perfect. So we have already learned in present perfect has finished. It's an equivalent. We just put it into had finished. For example, Mary is excited because she has never been to a dance before. Now here we can just change that into past perfect. Mary was excited because she had never been to a dance before. Now sometime it is also used to emphasize the completion when used in the following way. For example, I began collecting stamps in January, and by December I had already collected more than 500 stamps. So for an action that is almost over. Then we have here unfulfilled hopes or and wishes. So when verb like expect, hope, mean, suppose, think, want, etc. are used to describe things we hoped or wished to do but did not or could not do so, we use past perfect tense. See, I had hoped to send a letter to him, but I could not send it. So here we have a note here. It is sometimes supposed that the past perfect is used simply to describe events that happened a long time ago. This is not correct. We use the simple past to state such events. Mahatma Gandhi died on 30th January 1948. So we keep that in mind. Present perfect tense, we saw the helping verb that was used was has. And here we you have had. Both for singular and plural we use had. Whereas in the present tense we had has for singular tense and have for a plural. Here now the last one we have past perfect continuous tense. Let us go through that. The past perfect continuous tense. Here we have the past perfect continuous tense is used in action in progress throughout the period. Some action is going on for some time. For example, she was very tired. She had been she has been typing all day. So she had been typing, had been, and ing form of the verb for a perfect continuous. So we see here for repeated actions and also for the drawing conclusion we use this past perfect continuous tense. Had been speaking and also had been crying. Had been crying. We don't know why her eyes were red, but then we suppose that she had been crying. Therefore, her eyes are red. So finally, we have here the formation of the sentences. In simple past tense, we have past form of the verb, the subject plus or the second form of the verb, we call it. For past continuous, we have got was, were plus ing form of the verb, subject plus was, were plus ing form of the verb. And then past perfect, we have got had plus past participle form of the verb, or we call it third form of the verb. Then past perfect continuous had been plus verb in the first form and then ing form. So it means had been plus ing form of the verb in the perfect continuous tense. So we will see the future tense in the next session. Till then, we come with the next class. Stay home, stay safe, and go through this chapter once again. Then we will be able to do the exercises. Thank you.